It's a $5 bounty tournament. Some Jewel Tech. So people hack my eyes to look at them to try to gain affinity, and some guy, I just seen some kid with an afro look at their head, and then I seen the dad's psyche in my mind's eye trying to leech my attributes. So he came all this way to the city I'm in to possibly run into me. And I'm going to be able to prove that because I live in a tourist town, so tourism has went up. Tourism goes up wherever I am. And that's a metadata trail. There's going to be statistical evidence that there's more hotel bookings, more everything wherever I am. Historically. They're going to try to possibly, the good strategy is to try to alter it in the future, but they won't. Because they're greedy. All they had to do is let me be a billionaire, create some generational wealth. My grandfather had servants. My dad had servants until he was 9, and I grew up poor. And I'm responsible for a lot of innovation, so all they had to do is let me be an inventor and become a billionaire without restricting me. Then I never would have stumbled across this evil system. Never would have stumbled across it. I found out that one day I'm going to be officially the king of the world because of them hindering me. If they left me unhindered, I would have just been an anonymous billionaire, just doing my thing. Okay, this coffee is taking forever.
$209, $209, $211.
Thanks. The king's throne. The king's throne. Nice. That was kind of a loose call, but the blinds were low enough and I thought I could maybe recover from if I lost. It would have left me like, the blinds were only 50, so it would have left me like several hundred or whatever, over 500. Over 10 times the blind. But I got lucky there anyways. So definitely destroying the machine that's caused me to age. And redirecting it towards any enemy combatant. Exasperating their age, regardless of their youthful appearance. For any enemy combatant, to me and my kids. To most people that doesn't mean anything, but to the artificial intelligence system that controls the world, it means everything. Hopefully Crazy Canuck doesn't call. If this guy jams, I would call. So hopefully something could happen from this hand. Well, that's the last thing I wanted to see, maybe. I think he might be making a play. I'm trying to isolate him and see if he's making a play. But I'm worried about this guy. If they call, then I'm going to have to pull the parachute. Unless I get lucky. Sometimes they fold. Not usually in real money, but in play money, sometimes they fold. Even in real money. I got this guy to fold and when he had 2 cents left. And the blinds were 4 cents. So I forget if I was bluffing or not. Well, I guess so if I got him to fold. But I don't know, maybe I did have the winning hand. I'm just gonna keep putting pressure on until I start losing momentum, basically. So I could speculate a bit. So I'm smoking a joint and I was feeling high until I thought, hey, I'm feeling high. Then it diminished because people hacked my brain. It's like I can feel all the crystals, the marijuana crystals. Oh, that was not a good card. Should have made my move on the flop, I think. They might have ace jack or two pair, but I think they both missed the queen. I was hoping they were on a flush draw too. I didn't realize they both were. That's awesome, double bounty. And it was a decent hand, a playable hand. If you're new to poker, Jack King suited is decent, but it's like cold water. You want to proceed with caution. Because even if you get a pair of kings, you only got a jack kicker, so you're vulnerable. You're going to lose big pots usually, especially if you're new. Because you're not used to navigating it. You're going to think you got top pair. You're going to feel bulletproof until you get beaten down by poker enough. Am I chip leader? Okay, so I'm first out of 73, 5,890. So I'm gonna see if I can run the table. It's unlikely, but I'll try. Try to stay in the top 10 anyways for the duration of the tournament and win the tournament's my goal. So it's getting lucky at the right times, making the right folds, making the right plays. Well, I'm gonna call because I got the nut flush draw and a gut shot, straight draw, and it's only 4K, possibly 2 bounties, so it's unlikely I'll hit, but That's the best thing about poker is very rarely have I put two opponents on a hand in one hand. Maybe once or twice out of millions of hands that I played. That I was able, like, I'm getting better now. I'm getting more in tune. It would be more likely that I could do it more frequently now. But very rarely is you could put the guy, well, I guess more than once or twice. Maybe the exact two cards for both players I've done once or twice. Where I knew that they had the ace of diamonds and the nine of clubs or whatever it was. It'd be suited in that scenario. It'd be the ace of diamonds and the ace of diamonds and the nine of diamonds. And then maybe putting the other guy on queen jack for a straight. I could put one guy on a hand. But to put multiple opponents on hands. It'd be a hard skill to develop unless you're cheating and seeing their cards. Because that would mean player A would have to basically play 99% of the time how people play that hand in a given situation. And player B would have to play 99.99% of the time how player B would play their hand in that situation. And then player C, you would have to be able to ascertain and peg them on both. I would like to see pros do it. Call the shots. Maybe you can't take it. It's not like baseball where you can be like, okay, I'm gonna hit center field. Because then I would start pitching him outside, inside, anywhere so he can't hit center field. But a pro poker player might be able to say, within, I guarantee, during this session, I'm going to put them on this hand, on a hand. I'm going to call his two cards to a T. And then have it be on TV. So there's some sort of proof. Or if I was in a heads-up battle, it would be like, okay, I'm gonna finish him off in 2 hours or less. Which is a generous amount of time, at least online. I think the longest battle, maybe 45 minutes in an online battle, so that would probably be 5-6 hours. Woo, mamacita! Let's see if I can rally back here. I'm not chipping up, so I wanna try to chip up. Okay, well I want to win this pot, so I'm gonna give myself a better chance. Okay, that worked. So in all my social media, there's a bunch of subliminal like messages that people put, and unless they're positive for mankind, like eliminating rape culture, anything rape that encompasses anything that's sexual deviant, and transparently, so anything subliminally that's contrary to that is somebody else attending to a system that I endorse it. I started a petition because I'm electronically raped my entire life, so I'm fighting. When I was a kid, taking a shower, I felt people were watching me, and I was right. I came out with my own language at 8 years old. Me and my sister. Our own language. I don't remember it now, mind you, because it's almost 40 years ago. But if she was alive, I suppose we'd be speaking it occasionally. Every single person in my family that died is suspicious to me. My dad died in an accident, my brother died in an accident, and I'm going to be able to prove that it was technology in the future and bring those to justice. My sister died at 19. My mom died a year before I was going to go back to Europe. Let's see. Has it on his bed here. I'm calling no matter what. If he bet I was gonna jam on the flop. Yeah. I'm gonna chase this bounty here. I was hoping to have 2 live cards. And that ace. No ace. Nice. When you call with Queen 7, you're hoping to have 2 live cards. That means 2 cards that your opponent doesn't have. So now I can afford to play this hand and keep my momentum going. Or try to. I was hoping, I want to play in a big pot with that guy with 15,000 chips. I want to take them all. I think he's likely to call, but he might not, so I have to bet a certain amount here. kind of trying to find the right bet. I had a feeling he wouldn't raise, but I didn't want to risk too much because if I could gather the same information with less chips, then that's better for me. Don't get me wrong, sometimes there's nothing better than, more beautiful than an all-in play. It can be magical sometimes when it's used appropriate. It's at the right time, it's amazing. Because the guy thinks he has the pot. Well, I kind of did it when the board finished. Here, I'll just show you here what I made here. When I went all in on this play, I could have went all in on the turn and win, but he most likely would have called if he was on a draw. So I waited till the river and used the all in play to eliminate him calling, most likely. But there wasn't really much risk for me. It was only 2K. I had I don't even know how much I had. It wasn't even sweating it until now. Like, we're still during registration, so anything more than 5K is kind of profit in my mind. So I'm willing to speculate more with it and risk and take chances and bluff and be more conservative once I get. See, I want to call with this. How many players are there? But I'm not, because the guy has 15K. I'm on the call to 4.7K with this hand to get 3 bounties potentially. But I don't want to risk him raising all in for the 15K. So call. He folded. Let's see if I would have got lucky. Nope. I don't always chase bounties, but I try to get lots of them. Until something influences my decision, basically. In that scenario, it was the guy behind you. You always gotta think, because you react after the people in front of you, so you have a better chance of knowing what they have. Where the people that react after you can always sucker punch you. There might be 5 guys that fold in front of you, but there's 1 or 2 guys that could have the hand that are still behind you. So you got to pick your spots. They say you shouldn't bluff in a pot when there's more than 2 players. It's not advantageous. But I see that as a challenge. I try to bluff when there's lots of players sometimes, but you can't do it over one street. I've done it before. I don't know how many times, but you gotta, it's all psychology. There's a lot of math. Don't get me wrong. You're a winning player if you play by the math all the time. You should be a winning player as long as you don't get rigged. You should be a winning player because you're making the most mathematical decisions, and poker's a beatable game with math. But at the same time, if you strictly play math, I'm gonna use psychology to skew your math odds and then make you fold or make you call. So you can't strictly use math. That's the beauty about poker. It's the psychology of it. I could be holding any 2 cards right now. They don't, unless they're cheating, they don't know what I'm holding. So I'm gonna fold. That's a nice bet he made there. He didn't try to get greedy. He had the nuts and he didn't try to get greedy. Just a minute. So in the system, the hidden system, they have this pheromone thing where if people walk by, they could kind of try. Some people could hack you to induce you to cough and simulate that you have a sexual preference to any age group that they want to register you for. And so then usually, well, for me, if they wanted to register me to be attracted to males, they would have a female simulate arousal in my body subconsciously, and I don't even know it physiologically. And but they're able to register me that I would be gay in that scenario because they used an adult female that I'm attracted to. Her pheromones chemically would have aroused me, so that that would have simulated whatever they wanted to simulate physiologically in my body. Because people are aware of the system, the criteria that what they're looking for, so they develop strategies to engineer people to look exactly that way. Like they used to have it where you physically walked would be that would be the metric where would be how you'd be registered. But now, well, for me at least, they use mainly where my eyes are forced to look. Because your eyes the optic nerve is so sensitive that it's so easily hacked that it can tune into any. One team could be making you look at, one team could be like, hey, this person's malevolent if they look here. And then another team is like, let's make him look here. And they keep playing this switch to sell different cons, different profiles for me, and different profiles for life marks. Where they're constantly registering us and unregistering us because they know we did nothing wrong. So they sell these cons as gray cons, where they sell, they're like, okay, well, let's pretend he did it, and then now let's influence that he didn't do it. And constantly do that over and over again. My entire life. Because any suspected incident that they would have engineered, it would be the time prior to that. How come there was never any indication? So what's this guy doing here? I do want to play in a big pot with him. I don't think he has the 7, but he might have the 8. And I was hoping to hit the 8 to improve. 8 of spades would have been beautiful. Because I'm probably going to lose some chips here. Yeah, I'm probably going to lose, but that's a good enough bet for me to call. Nice bet. That's the thing about poker, I kind of knew I was beat there, but he could have been making a play. And if people always played straightforward, then I would have folded there, because I seen a big red stop sign that I'm going to lose. And but people bluff. So yeah, I have to make that call occasionally, just so you're not taking advantage of it. And it was only 3K, so it was kind of the perfect size bet. I was hoping it would have been less than that, but I wouldn't have called pretty much any more than that. Would have been too suspicious. Because if you're new to poker, or you're intermediate or advanced, well, if you're advanced, you probably know this, but intermediate, there's bets that every bet is telling you something. It's like either, hey, call me. One's saying call me. Another one's saying fold. Another one's saying raise me. So there's those three scenarios with every single bet people make. Which one of those three stories is accurate for that hand? Do they want you to call? Do they want you to fold? Or do they want you to raise? I think I might lose this hand. So I'm trying to make it expensive for the river. Unless he already has the straight. So right under your nose, right above your lip, they're able to simulate the pheromones to make you smell it somehow through the pores in by your mouth, is what I ascertained. But it's like, it's unfortunate because some of these women come here to this city where I live to see me in this subliminal system, but they never say hi, but they hack my body to look at their body. There can be a crowd of people, like thousands of people, like right now there's probably, I'll show you. So there's a crowd of people here, and I'll be walking, and whoever they want me to look at will stand out in the crowd of people. If they want me to look at a woman's ass, there could be 56 people there, but I'll automatically look at her ass. And then it's usually a nice ass when they do that. But there could be some subliminal images that they're trying to set me up looking at her ass with on the clothing. So clothing manufacturers are going to have some explaining to do, and it's not like they could get rid of all the clothing that people have. They would be smart to stop manufacturing it, but I'm just gonna, when I go to court, I'm just gonna go to the vintage store and buy some old clothing and get the subliminal metrics off the old clothing. So it'd be advantageous for them to stop manufacturing it, but there's always going to be historic proof because people are going to have, they're not going to burn their clothes from the past. Everything they do, there's a paper trail. So once the world is aware of the subliminal system and how hard I've been trying to stop pedophilia, rape, and because as soon as I was born, pedophiles raped me. They augmented my penis. I have a surgical scar when I got circumcised that goes the entire shaft of my penis, which doesn't make sense. And it's not like they could ever get rid of that evidence. And I'm almost guaranteed and there's gonna be more punitive damages sought by my son, but that they've tried to chemically try to reduce his manhood, guaranteed, because our physicality emasculates people, so that's one way they try to rein us in, basically. But it doesn't stop our DNA from producing men with massive manhoods. Every single kid would have to be reduced chemically. Great expenses to the country. It takes technology to stop our talent. Rather than learning from us and trying to become like us, they try to water us down to make us appear like everybody else. And how advantageous is that for mankind? Let's see if I can win this hand. Now, this is looking spicy. What's that guy doing? Okay, the big pot's out. Is he gonna check? He's gonna check. So what is the perfect bet? Wasn't 1,300 chips. Let's see if I could get some chips back. Nice. So I got a few chips there. When you see 7 deuce, once you get more advanced, you can't look at it like it's a loser hand every time. Because statistically, it's going to win a certain percentage of the time. So you got to try to earn some of those pots, earn some of that percentage. Don't play them all the time, but play it sporadically. My goal is to make $1 million cash playing poker and then write a book on how I did it. And then spend a couple years learning solvers and all that, and then write another book after I earn more money. Do something big. Then write a second book. Because right now I'm more of... I calculate math odds and... like the outs and pot odds and stuff like that, but I'm more of an instinct player. If I feel like playing a hand, I play it and try to earn the pot. Whereas before I didn't have that confidence playing poker. In some ways I was a better player because I was more strict, but I was beatable. Now I'm a harder player to play against, but it took about the artificial intelligence system. I had a strategy. Like I watched the online pros for a couple years, and then developed a strategy that I could beat the online pros. Not the online pros, the pros that I seen on TV. I had a strategy to beat them, and from what I seen on TV. So people that were mimicking it, I was able to dominate. And but then artificial intelligence, I became aware of this, and then I started to lose. Situations where I would normally win 90% of the time, all of a sudden I'm losing 90% of the time. So you have to adapt. So the way I had to adapt is they kind of forced me to become a bad player for about 3-4 months. I had to learn a new style, and so I became a bad player because I was figuring out this new style, and then now I've rebounded into a better, stronger player because of it. I'm able to sporadically still pick apart the pros. I'd play any pro without them cheating. If they could monitor our brainwaves to make sure there's no electronic cheating going on, I'd play any pro heads up for $1 million that's never watched me play. They could watch all my videos and I'll still play them, because I'm not confident. Like, every time I play, sometimes I go back on previous results, but I always assume I know nothing about these players and I try to gather information about them in that session. Where some of these secret players that play me secretly, they've been playing me secretly for years and I still beat them. Meanwhile, I have zero experience playing them officially. Just the poker psychology. I just understand poker psychology. Because it's like, well, what would I do in a situation sometimes, and what have I seen done in situations other times? When you're at a poker table in a tournament, no offense, but you probably want to avoid me unless you're trying to improve your game and get better. But the smart money is to play against somebody weaker. That's the smart money. Is to avoid the strongest player at the table and focus on the weakest players that are weaker than you. That's how you survive in poker. But I like the challenge. I usually go after the strongest player at the table. Not all overtly. I don't make it known, but if they pay attention consistently, I'm always trying to get in big pots with them. In situations where I could double up through them and to play these massive pots so I could be the chip leader. I guess it's probably how I'm near the chip leader lots of times. So I'm still in the top 10, so that's good. I'm gonna punish this bet if they bet. Punish. Let's see this one. Oh, I didn't call. I don't like it, but I'm hoping to be in a flip.
I'm due to win a flip.
If you're new to poker and you call with pocket nines there, you gotta expect to lose a lot of times. Expect that money to be gone. Because the best case scenario is you're in a flip. Well, the best case scenario is you're in you have an overpair situation. Would be the best case scenario. Would be for them to have eights. Then there's only 2 8s in the deck, whereas last time he had 3 5s, so there was 3 3s and 3 5s. So once he hit the 3, then there was still 2 remaining 3s he could hit to beat me, plus 3 remaining 5s. So he had 5 outs compared to if he had 8s, he still would have only had 2 outs. But you want to be in a situation where they need to hit the bottom pair twice. Make trips out of the low card that they have. Because then you're usually in a pretty dominating situation. Want to pretend I have tilt and take it out on another table. The way I play it's pretty rigged, so I don't get on tilt because I expect the rig. When my hands hold up, I'm shocked. I expect them to hit the 3 outer, the 1 outer, the 2 outer against me way more than mathematically possible. Officially. And there's going to be international money laundering crimes and trials for people who have cheated me out money because they're breaking. They're either hacked my phone because it's not like I'm outside. I'm not playing poker with these people in person. So how would they know my moves? So they're cheating. They're using electronics to cheat, and so that's. There's the cell phone, my Wi-Fi provider, my government, provincially and federally and municipally. And who else would it be? Well, billionaires that are trying to evade justice, but they can't hide behind international communication violation laws, which will hunt them down. So, and I'm going to be able to prove in the future that I'm going to be able to look at when I was playing poker and how was the stock exchange affected based on my poker maneuvers worldwide. Because I once doubled my stocks in 16 days, my portfolio in 16 days, and the very first time I tried trading stocks, the very first stock that I isolated and spent probably 40 hours at least researching and trying to figure it out. And but I would have turned $4,000 into $10,000 in a month. And but I didn't listen to my instinct. But I did make $1,500 in a day off that 4,000. But it's stocks, right? So you could hit home runs. Like I've hit 2 home runs, and I've only invested in stocks for like maybe 3 months, and I outpaced mutual funds that takes years to double your money. It takes about 8 years for a mutual fund to double your money, and I did it in 16 days. But it was for a relatively little amount of money. Once I tried upping it for thousands of dollars worth of profit, okay, they didn't have the floor. Then my luck wasn't the same. So in the future, I guess I would be able to show the complicit companies that would have to tank their own stock to stop me. Because I figured out a formula. I looked at what I thought was successful criteria for a stock, and here, I'll see what it is. It's like,
according to Investopedia, EBT is the money retained internally by a company before deducting tax expenses. It is an accounting measure of a company's operating and non-operating profits. All companies calculate EBT in the same manner, and it is a pure ratio, meaning it uses numbers found exclusively in the income statement.
so that's pretty awesome to know. That's one you want. But there's one, it's something like, I would have to look at it, a tax, the trade-in software to see what it is, but I think it's earnings before deductions, and then something like interest depreciation. So that's probably this one right here. This is the one you want. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. The profitability to net income. So you want that. So it's basically finding out, going to successful blue chip companies, finding out what their ratio is, and then finding stocks that aren't blue chip companies that have different variables that you find desirable. Like the Bollinger Band is a successful strategy, the Candlewick is a successful strategy, and not getting greedy is a successful strategy. Not trying to, like, even though my very first trade I would have made $6,000 profit if I would have listened to my instinct, I'm glad I played it more conservative, because you hedge your bet, you're less likely to take the risk. If I would have gambled too much, so sure I missed out on $6,000 worth of profit instead of say $4,500 in profit. I missed out on, instead of I got $1,500 of profit. But the risk, the inherent risk that I would have taken if I didn't do otherwise wasn't justifiable to me at that point. So it's being conservative, like trying to look for underperforming companies that are they should be successful stocks, but you have to understand accounting, basic accounting. You have to understand some basic accounting if you want to day trade. If not, you want to invest in an index fund, the top 500 companies or whatnot in an industry, and then over the long run, as long as that industry is sustainable, then there should be growth. They say if you invest at 18 years old, if you start investing, say every paycheck from 18 to something like 35 or 30. Stop investing. Let it ride till you're 65. You're gonna earn more than somebody that didn't invest until 30, 35 and invested until 65. So the sooner you start investing, the better it is. You get long-term dividends, which is great, but I want to get rich fast. I want to be forever young and rich while I'm young, not when I'm 7 years old. But at the same time, you got to hedge your bets. So you got to make those long-term investment moves for index funds to play it safe, because you got to assume that you're going to live that long. And but at the same time, if you're watching a poker video, you probably like a little bit of risk. So it would be dabbling a little bit into day trading. But you have to expect that you're probably going to lose a bit for the first couple years until you become an expert. Like anything, like I've been playing poker, so it's cost me about $4,000. It's rigged because I was a profitable player before then, but it's cost me about $4,000 in 3 years, and I played close to 1 million hands. And of real money, and then probably a couple million hands of play money. So what? I don't like this. Oh, it's only 2K, so that's not bad. So ideally, if I had $100 extra, I'd want to say maybe donate $10 and then donate $5, and then I would save $20. So how much does that leave me? So that's $25. So then I would have $75. So I would take the $37.50 and invest in an index fund with a long-term projection for 30 years. I would continue to invest in that fund, no matter if it's up or down. Just constantly invest, no matter what the market does. And then with 37.5, I would day trade in down to the minutes. I think you could do it because some of these strategies, they work. You could look at a 5 minute or 5 second interval and make the same decision, same quality analysis as you could over a 30-40 year period with the same techniques. So you can look at it at the long-term perspective, but then you could make it concise into a short-term perspective. But when you do it short-term, you have to constantly, like, if I was the day trader, I don't even know how many trades I'd make a day, because I'd be going for quality trades. So just say it might take me an hour and a half to get down to five trades that I want to invest in the morning. So before the stock exchange, I might be able to isolate 5 stocks based on news and doing the research on their accounting and looking at their metadata, the numbers of it, and then I might rule down to 5 stocks. So then I would try to invest in them, and then if they paid dividends, I guess I'd be doing research the whole time to find my next 5 stocks that I want to invest in. If it wasn't the previous 5 stocks, I might want to pivot. I might be like, okay, I think this is the most juice I could squeeze out of the apple here today. So now I'm gonna jump ships to another stock where I could ride the wave. For the quintessentially trying to sell high, buy low. But so trying to stay ahead of the curve and understanding technology, understanding industries, but with understanding the earnings before deductions, amortization and interest is a great way to look at a company. You don't really need to know anything about the industry. You just know if it's a solid company or not. And then the more research you do on the industry through, like, I like Google Finance. There's MSN and there's Yahoo and there's probably other ones that aren't in the West, more popular in the West. But it would be the same thing for any stock exchange. That's the thing. It's based on numbers, and with that formula that I mentioned in the video, basically, you could use it on any stock exchange. And no, I don't need to speak the language. I don't even need to know the name of the company. I just need to look at the metadata, and as long as they're not lying on their accounting information, then I'm going to be able to decipher if they're a solid stock or not. As long as they don't lie. If they fraud their numbers, if they fudge their accounting, then you're taken for a ride. But it's getting a good solid accounting background and understanding income statements and balance sheets and the company, and then looking at competitors in the industry, and then seeing what they do, and capital expenditures are good as long as they're not overextending themselves. But you want them to be as long as they're investing in the future, you want that. But you don't want them to be expanding too quick. If they're a new company, then they could expand too quick and implode, and then a lot of people lose money. So it's being able, with the more stable companies, that what you want them to be able to expand and help them, right? So you want to see some solid capital expenditures. Like, if I had billions of dollars one day, once I do, and unfortunately I won't be able to invest in the stock market because I'd be too good at it. That I would end up not ripping off, but in a way I'd be outmaneuvering inherently good people that aren't as good as math as me. So, like, I'd be making these better numerical decisions consistently. Over the long run, I'd end up taking it all, basically, and I wouldn't want to. And so right now, people listen to my thoughts, so my thoughts affect the stock market. So I kind of can't invest in stocks even if I wanted to. It's kind of a blessing and a curse being me. In one hand, it's my natural skill set. I'm a natural at it, and but on the other hand, it's like I'm just too good at it, that I influence it too much, that it's like, stop listening to my brain, and I could invest in stocks. They would love for me to invest in stocks, but I choose not to because I don't want these electronic violators of my thoughts to get rich. So I choose to be poor. It's like they could learn poker strategy from me, and I'll still decimate them. But in the stock market, you could become a billionaire. In poker, you can become a multimillionaire. That's about it. And the best thing is I only spent maybe 3 months dabbling with stocks. Maybe less than 10 trades or whatever. And maybe more, I forget exactly. But I didn't spend 4 or 5 years of becoming an expert, where that's when my true potential would be. I'd probably be able to come up with a pretty good algorithm and sell it as an app, and make a lot of money just by doing nothing, just by making 10% of every profitable trade, just by a successful formula. Then I don't have to do anything. You buy this app, you play the stocks based on my formula, and every dollar you would have made, you get 90 cents instead of that dollar. I would make 10 cents. And it's like, well, at first people would be like, oh, well, some people, greedy people are like, well, why is he doing that? But it's, why is he getting 10 cents? It's like, well, you never would have had that extra dollar in the first place without my formula. So if I'm creating money for you, I want to be receiving dividends for that. Want to get paid. Show me the money, world. Been influencing the world my entire life, and to keep me broke. I had a panhandle for money today. I was a financial advisor, and at one point, and they taught me how to be rich, and they crushed me because I was singing to myself in the car because they taught me the formula to become rich, and it was just an inevitability to me in my mind. An inevitability in my mind. I was hacked there when I said it the first time. They taught me the formula. So if you want to become rich, you need an accountant, you need a lawyer, and you need a financial advisor. And less entourage if you're super rich. You don't need sponges. But there's charitable donations for life insurance that you could save a bunch of taxes by having a life insurance that goes towards charities when you die, so it offsets your taxes. There's a lot of successful strategies. And the best thing about life insurance is there's so many different, it's like a spoke on a wheel. There's so many different ways to sell it in packages to different people that you could specialize in different ways. Like what I would have done was, this is a successful strategy, and people should pay me money for it. The ones that are secretly listening to me, I'm gonna tax, but anybody that officially watches the video, I won't. But anyways, if you're retiree age, say 60, you own your house basically. You're 50 plus, you own your house, you're in relatively good health. What you do is you get a life insurance policy for as much as you can, say at least what you plan on taking out of your equity out of your house. So you take some equity out of your house to basically pay for the life insurance to offset the equity that you took out, so you have more future equity, and then the extra money gives you extra money per month, and it works out great. At the time, it would have made me $8,500 per transaction, and it benefits. It's a win-win situation. It's foolproof, because especially if you're 50. You get life insurance, you're in pretty good health. You should live to be 80 at least. So that if you take out $100,000 worth of equity in your house, whatever it is, it's gonna appreciate in value. Your house, chances are, is gonna be worth more than that $100,000 in the future, in those 30 years by the time you die. And if not, you have the life insurance to catch you like a parachute. So your spouse is saved. Your spouse ends up getting the money, and but it's just a good way to you got equity, so especially if you're earning, then you don't want to do it. It's about once you're no longer contributing and you're kind of draining from the economy, then you want to try to offset that by taking out some equity in your house, getting life insurance to offset that, and then with the rest of it, having an annuity that pays you an extra, say, a couple $100 a month for 10, 15 years. So then now, instead of your pension, whatever it is, it might be $1,600 a month. Now your income's $1,800 a month, and plus you got life insurance on top of it to benefit. And if you're young, you want to get a whole life insurance, because you could access that equity in the life insurance policy while you're alive. You could do it at any point, but it's more advantageous when you're young. If you did it if you started investing in a whole life insurance policy when you're 18, you could have quite a bit of money by the time you're 50 that you could take out and buy yourself that sports car, invest in some business, because ideally that's what you want to do when you're retiring, is some side hustle that you could physically do for the rest of your life until you physically can't do it anymore or mentally can't do it anymore. Some passion job, well, if it's a fishing hut, selling minnows, whatever it is, something that you enjoy to spend your time with, your remaining time, and try to earn money while you're still alive, because for inherently good people that have never consciously violated my thoughts or my kids' thoughts, I'm hoping they live forever. So at the same time, in order to live forever, it costs money for the technology required for people to live forever. So it's something that it's going to cost you money, but it's going to be something like a certain percentage of your disposable income. So the rich offset it for the poor. So it's not, immortality isn't just going to be for the rich. It's going to be for everybody. But at the same time, it's not going to be for the sponges, the people that choose not to work, people that drain the system. It's people that contribute to the system, the economy. They're going to be the ones that are going to be able to live forever with technology for an extended period of time, prolonged longevity anyways. Nice call. I haven't really made a play lately in poker, so I tried, thought I could get away with one there. So what is this? Oh no, that's the wrong one. So I'm currently 35th. So I dropped low 10th. So that wasn't the goal. I didn't accomplish my goal to go coast to coast. But 36 out of 104, 10,673 and $77.73. Average that, or first place. Elite registration, 13 minutes and 20 seconds. That's when it gets interesting, because when late registration is still open, people could risk it all and then re-enter and still get 5K and come back and beat you. Yeah, that was a big bluff. I shouldn't have made it, but there was 1,600 chips in the pot, so... Usually when I make that move, I have the queen. Good luck me if he calls. Little kid's trying to leech my attributes. There we go. What's this guy doing? You always got to be worried about the small blind raise pre-flop. But I'm going to call out position. I want to see a flop and evaluate my hand from there. Oh, there's a guy. Good thing he folded. I didn't see the sun's kind of shining on my screen, so I couldn't see him. Nice, I'm glad he called. I want to see the outcome. Yeah, that's a solid tip. Small blind raises are really suspicious. Doesn't mean you can't beat them because you have position, but they usually have a good hand. So they're playing at different people. Same person's playing different people's cards. That's how they have to compete against me. Once I have. Oh no! I might lose it all this hand. Probably gonna lose it all. That was alright. Could have been worse. I didn't want to risk several callers and then losing by the river. That time. So we live in a world where I'm about to go get an ice cream, and people are going to be thinking they influenced me. When I happen to see somebody that had an ice cream that did influence me, but they don't own me because I seen somebody eating it. When somebody makes you yawn, they don't own you. It's like, that would be good and I have money to get it, so why don't I? Okay, so let's see. Well, it's an hour and a half. I'm gonna call because there's a bounty and the open-ended straight draw, and I'm calling. Hopefully I can recover. Not likely. Well, I kind of need to get this win. I'm not going to rejoin if I'm getting low on my battery, so. He hit the river. Well, that was kind of brutal. So normally I wouldn't have called all in with open-ended straight draw, but I figured I'd take the chance. I would have more likely if I was in the money, but since it wasn't in the money yet, I normally fold that scenario 100% of the time. But it was like an hour and a half video, and it's like could be a 4-hour video if I win that hand, basically. Anyways, if you want to have your mind blown about the technology that's available in the world, that people violate, not available, that people use to suppress human existence and their human experience, and anybody that is recruited is used by the system. They get you to do things that you're the fall guy, you end up behind bars, and you're the bad storyline. There's going to be nobody that they promise you things that you'll never see. Anyways, go to www.change.org/technology and have a great day.